Now, drawing in ZBrush is all fine and well, but we have 3D information that we want to do paint overs on and stuff like that. The whole point of ZBrush is to work in the round and figure things out. And then if you want to do a 2D paint over, because I do want to reinforce that that functionality is still available to you in ZBrush, and we'll even go into Photoshop in a minute too. But we'll stay in ZBrush a little bit longer here. So I'm going to go out of edit mode, hit Control N to clear my canvas, and we're going to go ahead and load up, say, our robot block out, and say that stylized sculpt we were working on. Now, there's a couple different ways we can handle this. So I'm going to go ahead and drag our object out on our canvas here, and you're going to see we still have a flat color material selected. If I go back to, say, a matcap gray, you're going to be able to see him a little better, and because we don't have colorize turned on, whenever we change a different color, he'll go ahead and inherit that color. So now here he is matcap gray with a white color. Another thing you can do in ZBrush is, we're going to go ahead and turn perspective off, so we can position our character here. We can do Shift S. We can snap him to the left. We can do Shift S, and Shift S is basically a screenshot here. So we can do like, whatever views you want. And then for this one, we can turn perspective on, and then we can do Shift S. So you can do little character sheets here. You can hit Control N to clear your canvas. Or I should mention that, if you do different character sheet type things here, like this, and you go out of edit mode, you can use the mRGB Z grabber, so you can just drag over your object here, and that'll go ahead and it'll capture their depth as well, which you can use in Photoshop later as a lens blur effect. But you can also it'll just grab the texture here, and you go to Texture Export, and you can export this as a PSD. You can also, if you hit Control N, go grab our robot again, go back into edit mode here. You can also grab your document, so you can go over here to Texture, grab Doc, and that'll go ahead and just grab your image here, and then again you go Texture Export. And later on we'll get into how to make your document size really big and get really high resolution renders, but for now we're just in sketch phase, so I'm not going to worry about that. I will say if you want to render a shadow, you can turn on the floor, and again we'll get more into rendering later on. It's not a huge deal right now, but just to show you rudimentary rendering, we're going to go to Draw, and you can see the floor is very small, so if I turn on BPR render, that shadow that he's casting is going to kind of stop at the bounds of that floor plane, so we're going to go into the Draw menu. We're going to go to grid size and just crank that way up, and now when I hit BPR, he'll go ahead and cast a shadow. So because matte caps, the lighting information is baked in, really, if we go ahead and close these menus down and we go into the light menu here, the light direction that we pick with a matte cap is only going to dictate which direction the shadow falls. If you want, you can go from a matte cap gray to, say, a basic material, and now as you move this light around, and of course you can add more lights, you can go watch the lighting basics video. It'll affect your object, and when you hit BPR, it'll do the cast shadow in that direction as well. Again, we're going to get more in depth on shadow properties and all that good stuff in later videos, but this is enough to at least get started with. So at this point, if you wanted to, one more option I wanted to tell you underneath the render menu here, since we hit BPR, if you go over here to render pass, if you click on the shaded button right here, that'll export your shaded as a PSD. You can also export your depth, your shadow, ambient occlusion if we had that turned on, your mask, and subsurface scattering if we turn that on. But for now, I'm just going to go back in here to texture, and you can also go up to this menu here. There's also a texture grab dock in that top menu.